and a great morning for Emilia Perez.
Emilia Perez is the most nominated foreign film in Oscar history. And girl, I mean, boy, did they get this one wrong.
In the way with 13 nominations.
With 13 Oscar nominations surpassing The Godfather, yeah, I'll let that sink in. This film's success at Oscar nominations is a clear example of Hollywood's Orwellian thought police and the Academy's voting body as a politburo deciding cultural legacy by guarding a stairway to nowhere land. Emilia Perez follows a lawyer tasked with helping a Mexican cartel leader become a woman while holding her family hostage and screaming at her ex-wife, who barely speaks Spanish. And it shows why liberals across America love to lose elections.
That Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin, which means he is the winner of this race and will return to the White House as this country's 47th president.
This is Noticias, Culture, and Politicas from Gios Juevos.
I was saved by God to make America great again.
So, first up, this 1984 inspired ad is pop culture. I like to quote Quentin Tarantino, who famously said, "Great artists steal, they don't do homages." But how do you define a culture? Well, it's easy to measure. How many times is a work imitated? And why do Americans hold on to certain imitations that end up defining their own culture? In the book Born Fighting: How the Scottish Irish Shaped America, James Webb traces America's culture with the mass migration of Scottish Irish under the ethos fight, sing, drink, pray. This characterizes America's cultural DNA: resilience, celebration, and faith. Looking through this lens, true American movies such as 11-time Oscar-nominated movie The Godfather embodies this ethos through an immigrant story of a man who becomes king and is tested through family, matters of loyalty, and personal resilience.
Look how they massacred my boy.
This film is such a success, its imitations insist upon themselves.
I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
It insists upon itself, Lois.
I do renounce them.
A very similar American folklore tale that got multiple Oscar nominations, The Dark Knight, explores similar themes of heroism and moral complexity, directly inspired by Michael Mann's Heat. Imitation is cultural significance displayed numerically to absolute truth. And yet, The Dark Knight, a film that defined an era, had fewer Oscar nominations than Emilia Perez. So which film will Americans remember? America can be defined by its media impact, but it's been hijacked by a cultural elite terrorist committee wandering the halls of Dolby Theater, walled off by history in the making. California's state motto, Eureka, stems from the 1848 gold rush and underscores California's identity as an isolated archipelago, with Los Angeles as its largest island and Hollywood crowning itself as the cultural capital. And it's wrong. Hollywood's dominance through film history has defined both the American dream and its nightmares. But its status as an island stems from its detachment, a hilled city walled off from the touchstone of everyday life for most Americans. This isolation grew after 9/11. As America's cultural landscape shifted, Hollywood soul searched in a post-2000 world, grappling with the questions of morality and identity, which soon gave way to an overwhelming focus on identity politics as a martyring cause.
Here at the Academy Awards, otherwise known as the White People's Choice Awards.
This culminated in 2014 with a renewed commitment to race, gender, and personal identity as the most noble of causes, overshadowing the average American's desire for entertainment. This type of liberal thought is rooted in Francis Fukuyama's end of history theory that democracies would triumph and wars would cease.
The American general who late today declared America's longest war was now.
And it was undermined as America entered its longest war. As America stayed at war, even as a faint glimmer beyond the stone wall, then there must be some truth above it all. And this is where the idea of individual identity became most sacred for liberal thought.
This pin is for Artists for Ceasefire. We have so many artists here tonight wearing it.
And social cause, a flag worth flying. Hollywood, as a cultural offshoot of this ideology, drifted further from its core purpose, becoming a floating island of political and cultural thought. Orwell wrote, "If liberty means anything, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear." And by elevating Emilia Perez and ignoring the masses, Hollywood is sending a clear message. They are letting liberty die by making popular taste expendable in the pursuit of virtue signaling. Saint Ronald Reagan, a Hollywood actor turned president, won every state.
Kentucky, Indiana, in the state of New Jersey, Missouri with its Oklahoma,
the home state of the President of the United States, California, 47
except Minnesota during his re-election, a feat only mirrored by Richard Nixon in modern times.
And I'm just a guy for the job.
And he won with this slogan:
"We'll restore hope and we'll welcome them into a great national crusade to make America great again."
Now that feels familiar.
To make America great again.
Let's contrast this with Kamala Harris's 2024 slogan.
Likely Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris refers to her as a, quote, brat.
Fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context.
Liberals are brat, and that's not the compliment they think it is. Where Reagan and Trump's slogans are clear and aspirational, their simplicity, cutting across partisan lines, are tapping into America's identity.
Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Liberal campaigns often craft messages that appeal to intellectualism but miss emotional universality. For example, John Kerry's 2004 campaign slogan, or Hillary Clinton's
"Be stronger together, my fellow Americans."
Then 2016 comes around, that election, it's like, what the fuck are these options? You know what I'm saying?
Liberals focus on complex politics and identity-driven appeals that feel disconnected from everyday struggles, and they lose elections for it.
And then Hillary at the party, she's turning the music down all damn night, right? And it's like, look, bitch, we only invited you because your husband's cool, okay?
Americans are rooted in fighting, drinking, singing, praying, and entertainment.
As I walked through the Kamala Harris rally, most people had accepted that she probably wouldn't win the presidency.
I'm really disappointed because I didn't have enough time to register, because Texas, you have to register before 3 weeks before. So I had.
Liberals will learn to love losing elections if they cannot prioritize identity-driven ideals over the emotional, unifying message Americans crave.
Take a look down. I want to say this is Trump lane, right? This is right across La Carreta here.
Americans crave more than validation. They want to be moved, entertained, and inspired. All the while, Trump's Make America Great Again resonates because it feels personal. And films like Wolverine vs. Deadpool proves America's hunger for spectacle.
God, I love this face.
I could taste his final thought. He was so afraid.
Not lecture. Meanwhile, Emilia Perez would need Sharknado as a double feature to draw a crowd. Both the Oscars and liberal campaigns confuse prestige with connection. Until they tell stories that truly resonate, they'll keep losing elections and cultural relevance.
My campaign is like the Sabrina Carpenter song, Espresso.
Americans demand content that inspires their fighting, dreaming, and praying spirit, not elitist ideals.
Trump gave what I think was probably one of the greatest speeches of world leaders given. You know, it's got to be up there with like Churchill. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead.
He died like a dog. He died like a coward. The world is now a much safer place.
Surprise, motherfucker.